This is Zach Brush, the man behind the company that sold JPEGs of Hey Arnold, Care Bears, Hello Kitty, Star Trek, and much more. They raised over $50 million from investors like Gary Vaynerchuk, Jason Derulo, and owner of the New York Mets, Steve Cohen, as well as $20 million from the general public. And it's all come crashing down. They've closed up shop. Yesterday, on the 19th of August, they posted this on their Twitter or X account. They said, "Today, with heavy hearts, we must share some difficult news. After much contemplation and consideration, we've decided to deprecate the Recur platform effective of November 16, 2023. Where did the money go? What has happened? In this video, we're going to explore what has happened with Recur and if the general public and people will get some of their lost money and funding back. Now, first up, what is Recur? Recur, they say that they're one platform with infinite possibilities. The idea behind them is they wanted to get powerful IPs, so IPs that were nostalgic, and then sell them to the general public using blockchain technology, so NFTs, to then essentially generate additional revenue for them and the IP holders themselves. Now, yes, they did raise some money from investors, but they also raised funding from the general public. What they did is they sold these right before they launched anything. They sold a Recur pass. Now, what they did is they virtually sold an unlimited amount of them at $300 a piece. They sold 64,300 of them at $300 a piece. That's $19.2 million that they raised from the general public. Now, the reason that the general public spent that $300 was to have access to buy additional NFTs in the future. So essentially, that meant that the company Recur was injected with so much capital so they could run to then build something bigger. Now, what they did is they built an internal platform. They wanted to make it easy for the customer experience. So they had a very friendly interface, which then meant that they had a marketplace, but it meant that people could buy using a credit card. Now, this made sense for the investors, and it showed that they would be able to raise a lot of money, and it shows the legitimization to the big brands and IP. You can't trick a company and a brand like Nickelodeon into dropping NFTs and selling NFTs with Recur unless you've got all of those things lined up, and they had those things lined up. And this is where it started to onboard people into buying NFTs that didn't know or have the risk tolerances that come from people that like to buy and sell NFTs and cryptocurrency. Now, look, I hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, go down there, drop a comment, let me know what some of your most hated Web3 NFT crypto scams are. I'd like to investigate them, shed some light on them. So drop a comment below, I'll check them out and then get through to them. So to give you a preview of what some of the NFTs look like, you can see some of them here. These are characters from Nickelodeon shows like Rugrats, Hey Arnold, things like that. Now, when you actually have a look at the activity section, you can see that essentially Recur wasn't able to foster a community and actually deliver value to people that were buying these NFTs, because the promise wasn't just for people to buy NFTs, it was also people to be buying into experiences within these ecosystems and these worlds. And you can see here that these NFTs have not been bought, sold, or traded for a long time, and a lot of them are trading underneath the values that they were purchased for. So you can see here $16, $16, $33, when they were actually sold for around $50 a piece. But what happened to the actual Recur pass itself, that $300 pass? What are they going for? Well, you can see them being sold for now around $11, $10.50, $7, $9. What has happened is there has been a complete loss in trust and faith, and people are running to the door. People are exiting, and if they don't get out before that deadline of November 16th, then all of their assets, everything will be lost forever. And this is where their internal platform and marketplace gets very, very confusing, because a lot of these people that bought with credit cards, some of these people aren't sure how to create cryptocurrency wallets, aren't sure how to sort of trade NFTs, which means that all of this money, effort that has been spent from the general public is going to disappear. Recur had $70 million to essentially have a website self-custody these NFTs for people, and they've just dropped the ball. They've essentially spent the money or decided it was too hard and left. Now, when you actually have a look at the amounts of NFTs that were sold on the platform and the amounts of money that they made on top of that $70 million raise is just absolutely crazy. When you have a look here, Star Trek, they sold 8,381. With Nickelodeon, so Hey Arnold and Rugrats, they sold 10,000. Care Bears, they sold 6,400. Hello Kitty, they sold like $9,500. And they were sold at $50 a piece. So there were hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of NFTs sold. There was cash flow coming through. Now, I do understand that a lot of that money and funding would have been going back through to the IP holders, but the fact is Recur had a business model which was selling JPEGs to people, and they ended up not being able to keep the lights on, keep the servers running, which then meant that people are essentially going to lose some of their assets, which frankly is unacceptable with what they have done and what they've promised. So like I touched on before, this is Zach Baruch. Now, even him on Twitter, he hasn't been posting in a long time. He has essentially decided to just pack up shop and not contribute to anything anywhere. When you have a look on Twitter, you can see here his pinned post is from the 6th of January, and he was excited to introduce Recur Builder, so he was still in it then. Then when we have a look here, June 1st is a post. Then we have a look here, May 4th, another post. April 28th, a post. And then when you actually have a look at his LinkedIn, he's got a lot of connections, he's got a lot of followers. It's still been a long time since he's actually put some content up on LinkedIn. Now what comes to mind is what's going to happen with any funding that they do have left in the treasury, because I personally do not believe they've spent $70 million over the last sort of year and a half, 2 years. I can't speak for the investors and what's going to happen with them, because those will have been contracts with different kind of things. But for the general public, it looks like they're fresh out of luck. In the terms and conditions, they said that a lot of the sales of NFTs were final because they were a digital product and there were no refunds. And with the pass, even though they are shutting up shop early and they are quitting, they technically still have delivered something, so this will be a little bit harder. But there have been some thrifty people that have used their credit card that have then asked for a chargeback. So you can see here on Twitter, someone got a chargeback done on their card and they're actually getting some of their money back. So that's good. That is going to happen, and that will most likely cascade through to Recur on some of these purchases. But a lot of these purchases, after a longer period of time, there will be a sort of statute of limitations depending on where people live around the world and what credit card companies can actually do and how those purchases are. So it doesn't look like there will be refunds. There has been no communication. Now, one of the core communication methods has not been through Twitter, has not been through LinkedIn, has not been through their website. It has been through their Discord. Now, as of the last 24 to 48 hours, it has actually come up that their Discord has closed and the vanity URL, so Discord/Recur, has actually been taken by scammers. So it's been hijacked. So now what is actually happening is you're in a position where people that want answers can't go anywhere to get answers. Recur is shutting up shop, closing all the doors and avenues of communication to actually backtrack as much as possible. They are allowing people to move off their NFTs from the marketplace and platform to other chains, so Ethereum, etc., so they can still have ownership of their NFTs. But right now, a lot of people have bought with a credit card, don't know how to do that, and there is no communication because they are shutting up shop. This is an absolute disgrace. This is the kind of thing that consumers should not have to be put up with, and same with big IP holders should not have to put up with shysters, scammers, and things like this. I do like the NFT space. I like what NFT technology can be. But then when you have people like this that come into the crypto and Web3 space, the NFT space, to then raise some money, then build an experience, you get people to use their credit cards, sell them on a dream, sell them on something, and just disappear. This is on the level of those people that launch NFT projects that are completely anonymous. This is on the level of just the backroom shady men that don't deliver on what they say and just want to extract as much money from your pocket as possible. So that's a look at what has happened to Recur. If you have used Recur and you do have some NFTs on their marketplace, go onto their marketplace, take them off. If you don't know how to do it, learn how to go through the steps and take any of your NFTs off the marketplace and bridge them to another chain. So take them off and self-custody them. If you have used a credit card, try a charge back and see if you can actually recoup some of your costs. At the moment, I personally hold a Recur pass, which is essentially going to zero. It's not worth anything. And right now, I am just in a position of frustration and anger at someone that has come into the space, made promises, built things up in a particular way, and then just essentially left the community holding the metaphorical bag, even though they had the funding to keep the lights on. If you found value in this video, if you liked that video, go down there, hit that subscribe button, also hit that like button. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you next one.